Hi guys, welcome back to Jay is for Justice. My name is Jay and I'm your host. Today's video is on Chris Watts. I know. It's over. The case is over, Jay. It's an old case, Jay. I understand that. But I got a piece of information from the Wisconsin Bureau of Prisons. And I was going to make a simple video and just show you guys this crazy information. And then as I started to make the video, it turned into this deep dive into Chris Watts' alleged affairs. So let's get into today's video. Please hit that like button if you haven't already and subscribe if you want more.
Sweet, I don't worry about you. I just worry about me. So you better run. You don't know what I need. Take it down in 1, 2, 3. Phone is buzzing up, beep. I don't care about you. I just care about me. So you better run. Take your pretty outfit and go. Show yourself right out of my zone. Now before I lose my control. Grass is always greener, you know. So I used to standing here fall. Run back home to mama, let's go.
See it in your eyes and in your chest. It's maybe hard to talk about. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
He sought me out originally, but there was a time where I thought he was going to bail out, so.
Okay. He finds you, you guys meet, money and sex. Is that right? Okay, how much money?
That was the time, it was $250.
Oh, okay, first time, $250. Sex was oral sex? Okay. You perform on him? Does he perform on you?
Yes, but not the climax.
Okay. And then tell me about the negotiation. How does that work? Was there anything about the pre-meeting where he knew he needed to bring money?
Yeah, it was insinuated.
Okay, and how was that?
I put out there half-jokingly that I don't do anything for free with someone that I don't know from a hole in the ground.
Okay.
Then we got in my back seat and he just got really aggressive and there was no oral sex or anything. It just went to intercourse.
Okay. It's important for us to kind of get some of those details, and I'm sure it's uncomfortable to talk about. Was it him having sex with you or you having sex with him?
Yes.
Okay.
It was him having sex with me.
Him having sex with you. Okay. Okay. So then it sounds like he really is at least bi or maybe even gay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you think he felt like he was more bisexual or gay?
I thought that it was going to come out that whoever he was having a relationship with at work, whether, I don't know if that's true or not, I thought it was going to be a male of 100%.
Oh,
it was going to be a male.
Interesting. Is that what you thought?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he put his right hand on my face and just pushed down harder to where my face kept going into the seat.
Like, are you talking about your head or your face or
My
what?
face.
He was behind you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Doggy style.
Okay.
And I wasn't up like this. My back was arched.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, lots to unpack there. There's some key takeaways from Trent's interview that I wanted to point out to you guys. Number one, to me, he looks shamed. He doesn't look excited to be talking about this. He doesn't look excited to be sitting in an interrogation room talking about this incident with a man that is now arrested for annihilating his family. A lot of people thought, and I did too at the time, that he was just looking for attention. But if you listen to the whole interview, he actually does talk to Graham Coder, the detective, about being trafficked at the age of 14. So there's a lot going on with Trent Bolt, but I'm not getting the feeling that he's doing this for any kind of clout or lying about this. Let me know what you guys think. Now, before we get into what I got from the Wisconsin Bureau of Prisons, I want to preface this with playing. I want to preface this by playing some clips of Chris Watts during his Wisconsin interview in March of 2019.
They sent me a letter and it has like someone sent me a Christmas card with glitter on it. They let me have it because it's glitter. Because it's like it's contraband. So like yeah, I don't know how people get cell phones and stuff on here.
So what do you do with all these letters that are coming into you?
Most of them, like I just have like this. If somebody writes me once, I'll never write them just because I don't know like who they are, like where they're from. I'll keep it. If it's like a weird letter, I'll shred it up, throw it away. If it's like a supportive letter, I'll keep it around, just like a supportive letter. And then like I've had some people like write me like a second and third time, but they've changed the way they talk, or like they've said different things. Like there's like this dude in like California that wrote me. He's a senior in high school, and wrote me. He's like, okay, dude. I look up the name, like, okay, shred it up, threw it away. He wrote me again like 2 weeks ago, totally different. Like never mentioned like his age, never mentioned his setting. Like, hey, like I support you. I'm like all this, like that. Like if I didn't recognize his name, I would have known like he was just an 18-year-old kid, senior, trying to just like probably just get information, trying to because there's been like journalists and like other people like you could kind of tell like they ask a lot of questions. But I tried to like take into effect who's writing me and like just not to respond. Like I've responded to a few people just because like either my parents have talked to them on the outside, and then I kind of know okay it's a real person.
Oh.
But like there's some people that like it seems like they're just trying like to get help for themselves too. Like some people ask like like just for spiritual advice.
They're asking for spiritual advice from you.
Yeah, like if they're not asking about the case, I'll write them back. If they ask about the case, I don't write them back.
You think you'll be in love again? There's a lot of women out there that are in love with you.
No. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm not the guy that's down the street or whatever it is. I've heard enough about that guy. Still in here.
What have you heard about him?
The guy engaged over a letter.
He did, yeah.
That's pretty insane. But yeah, I don't see myself being in love ever again.
Do you have some ladies that are giving you a lot of, like, just telling you that they're in love with you and that kind of stuff?
Well, I've had a couple letters that have been like, I hear you get a lot of letters from lady friends that tell you all you need to know. I'm like, I don't get those letters. Trust me. Like I guess there was one letter in Colorado, someone sent me a picture of them in the key, and it's like went on from there. That was like the only letter I ever got. That was like that. But the press took it and just went with it. Yeah. If I never met Nikki, would I ever have, thought our relationship was bad? Probably not. Interesting. That's one thing I always thought about. Like, even Nikki asked me, like, if I don't want you. She said, I don't want you to leave your wife just because of me. I'm just like, what do you mean? She said, well, just if you met me, like, would you have known? I'm like, no.
What about our male friend? Where does he stand with her? What's his name?
Jim?
Jim. Thank you.
He worked in the oil field, North Dakota, I believe.
So Jim would be familiar with oil tanks and hatches.
And I guess he's been a friend of hers for a long time. And it's kind of like a shoulder to cry on. Is always somebody that's always been around for her. And I guess he's had a couple girlfriends, and just I guess he hadn't had much luck, I guess, in that department as far as like keeping girlfriends, and just him and Nikki have always been good friends.
Just platonic friends?
That's
as far as you know.
As much as I knew.
Yeah.
But I think they just been friends for a long time, especially up in oil field, North Dakota, or whatever he's working now. I think either Wyoming, they could go all over the place. But yeah, like some of the conversation, like on the 14th, got a little weird. I think that's when she met with CBI or something, or FBI. I'm not sure who she met with first.
So she talked to you after she met with?
No.
Oh, she did.
was like she had told me like, this is the last time you'll probably hear from me. I'm going to stay at my friend Jim's place while this is all going on. She said not to contact her until this is done.
Not to contact her until this is done. What is that supposed to mean? Till what's done? Remember David Carter, the prisoner who was in jail with Chris, and he came out and said that NK, Nicole Kessinger, was writing to him under a different name? Do you think that that could be true? Could that be who this incident report I'm about to read to you is about? Let's get into that right meow. So ever since Chris Watts was incarcerated, we've always heard that he's been a model prisoner. So you can imagine my shock when I opened up my email and I saw an adult conduct report on Chris Watts. So let's read through this. Inmate name, Watts Christopher. DOC number 674796. Inmate living quarters is 1FF15A. He is at DCI, which is Dodge Correctional Facility. Conduct report number is 00172-541. Description of incident. During inspection of inmate kiosk emails, I, Sergeant Olamiller, placed an email from inmate Watts Christopher, number 674796, on hold for further review. The email was intended to be sent to the email address redacted, associated to the name the redacted. During the email, Watts states, quote, "Send those panties. You'll probably have to wring them out first because I soak every pair! Exclamation point. I need you so bad! Exclamation point. I will fuck you so hard! Exclamation point. Redacted. Get to me! Exclamation point." This request is a violation of Policy 309.04.04, Section 1, Subcategory B, states packages which contain allowed or prohibited property or clothing shall be processed in accordance with DAI Policy 309.2003. This email is in violation of Policy 309.00.50. And Section 1, Subcategory B, states pornography includes but is not limited to written materials which the average person, applying state contemporary community standards, would find, when taken as a whole, does all of the following. A. Appeals to prurient interest. B. Describes human sexual behavior in a patently offensive way. Captain Arndt was informed of the situation. Per Captain Arndt's review of the email, it was determined a conduct report would best appease the safety and security of the institution. Accompanying the conduct report, the inmate will receive a copy of DOC 0243, Notification of Non-Delivery of Mail Publication. I have no further information to report at this time. And this was completed by Tiffany Olamiller on 6/16/21. And the code violations were disobeying orders and possession of contraband miscellaneous. Finding of guilt is guilty. Approving supervisor Davis Arndt, and signed by Christopher Watts. Given this is a couple years ago, who knows who he was writing to? Who knows who was offering up their undies? But very, very disgusting. I mean, extremely disgusting. Which made me think, what about those people that claim they were with Chris Watts? Maybe I need to look at their interviews again. So that's what I did. So join me for the rest of this video as we dive into the alleged mistresses of Christopher Watts.
He seemed like a genuine guy, you know. I mean, he was funny, he was charming.
Watts claimed he was divorced. They started out texting each other. She texted, "Morning, bud." Watts replied, "What's new, pretty lady? When can we eat tacos together? That sounds like a plan. This could get out of hand. I like it."
Some of the recovered text messages from Chris to Nicole read as follows. "Hope you had a great night, beautiful. Miss you. Get home safe. Sweet dreams, my sexy empanada." Chris sent that text message the evening of August 11th, 2 days.
After they exchanged a few flirty text messages, Amanda agreed to meet Chris Watts in person for the first time here in this shopping center. They parked somewhere over here. That night, Amanda says they had their first sexual encounter.
He was very rough, I would say. Very rough. And, you know, the best way I can describe it is as he's almost zoned out into a different person.
Did he ever choke you or ask to choke you?
He did place his hand around my neck. And I quickly it freaked me out.
It sounded like he was very forceful.
Very forceful.
Is that terrifying to you now, knowing that that's how he admitted to killing his wife, choking her, and he had his hands on your neck?
Yeah.
I know, like, they've been bombarded with information from, like, you know, from the Amanda girl to the Trent guy to from, like, people going on Inside Edition saying they knew me or went out with me or had, like, whatever else with me. And it's like, I don't want them to think that it's, like, other, like, false information going out there. Like, people are getting hold of information, like, where did they get this information from type deal, you know?
Would you like to see those people charged?
People take advantage of situations, and you know, they gotta, honestly, they'll have to look into themselves and just figure out why they did it themselves. So I mean, I don't think charging them would help. I think they just need to work out whatever they got going on within themselves. I mean,
did you ever have a profile on Tinder or anything like that? Any of those dating websites or anything?
No. I just had Facebook, I had Instagram. I didn't even know what the WhatsApp thing was called. I was like, John.
You'd never heard of that?
No, I was just like, I don't even know what that is, man. This guy's fishing for something. Sorry you had to waste your time and go out there and talk to him.
It was a big time waster.
It was a big waste of time.
Yeah. But you would not want to be listed as a victim in that case, as far as him being charged with, like, false reporting.
I mean, he's whoever's gonna try to get their 5 minutes, 50 minutes of fame, whatever they want to do with this. I mean, that's on them. I mean, if he's willing to do that, then he needs to figure out what's going on with himself before, like, you know, I don't think charging him with something's gonna fix it. So it'd just be a waste of time, I think.
So it's really interesting, Chris's take on whether these people that are making false charges should be held accountable for their actions. And he says, no, they need to look at themselves and figure out what's going on with themselves. Sounds like he's giving himself some advice. What do you think?
It made me feel nasty. It made me feel dirty.
He had a wife at home, pregnant, two daughters at home.
I know how that hurts. I wouldn't do that to her.
And this I kind of found genuine as well. It seems like she's been cheated on, and it's upsetting her to think about her doing that and making another woman feel bad.
You made some statements about how you know Chris?
Yeah, I met on Tinder at the beginning of, like, March-ish.
Okay. And this was March of?
This year.
This year, 2018? And you met on Tinder?
Mm-hmm.
Chris sure was a duper. Looking back now on Shanann's Facebook posts, I know we've all talked about Facebook posts can be fake, but it seems like such a stark difference as to what was going on in Shanann's mind and life, and maybe what was going on in Chris's.
We just, like, met at the parking lot, Chick-fil-A. I don't know, it's sounds funny. Got something to drink, and then we just went back to my house, and
You both went back to your house? Okay, so
followed me.
what's Chick-fil-A was that?
One on Center Place.
On Center Place?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So he drove here?
Yeah. And like, I just, it's around like the February, March time period. I couldn't tell you, I mean, I'm not, but, I'm not trying to, sound like a whore or not, but, I went through a nasty divorce, and, my kids are in Vermont, and so I just kind of went wild. And I know it's not safe, and,
I'm not gonna judge you for that. That's not the purpose of this meeting, so don't worry about that. I don't care. So talk to me just a little bit about where you met up. You said at the Chick-fil-A. Did you both drive there? Okay, what was he driving?
It was like so humiliating for me, because the meetup was just about sex. So we kind of just like went and, met him somewhere. And I knew it wasn't like I know it's kind of funny now, but it was like a killer. And, no radars went off or anything. And so then it's just like scary. Like, I had this guy in my home, and, we, had sex, and he left.
Was that in the truck?
No, it was in my house. Ate it out there, and I got some to drink, and then we just sat down and talked for a little bit. I remember talking to him about the Anadarko, where he worked, because my ex-husband tried to get on with them, but he had a history of like domestic violence and everything, so they wouldn't hire him. And so I remember that conversation, and he was like, oh, that's funny. So I just remember that. And then he said that he was like split from his, he called baby mama, and she wouldn't let him see his kids. And I remember kind of clicking with him about that, because my boys are in Vermont with my ex-husband, and it's been a nasty battle. And so, recognized the face and everything.
Okay. Tell me about his tattoos.
I remember they were on his back and his arms, but other than that,
How did you
like
feel?
pulling my hair and putting his arms around my neck. It was like a rape fantasy thing. That's how I, like describe it. It's really like, I just remember thinking, like, what the fuck when he left. Like, I actually had to like push him off me at one point.
And was there nudge talk for 20 minutes, or was it just nudge and then all of a sudden you're on top of her?
No, it's pretty much on top.
Okay, so that happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, I crawled back. I got on my side of the bed. And I just like nudged her like that.
Oh, okay. And then you're talking while you're on top of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That seems confusing to me. Is that actually what happened? Okay. And so...
But she was fine, like just laying there, like you trying to talk to her while you're on top of her?
Maybe, I thought we were going to have sex again or something.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how long did you talk?
About 15, 20 minutes.
Really? In that position? Okay. And was there any sex?
No.
Okay.
Maybe she basically from the position that we're in, she thought maybe I'd try to go again. I don't know.
Okay. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but I'm just trying to think, if my wife's 4 months pregnant and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I want to talk and I want to get on top of her, that's just not going to fly. So that's why I'm confused. So, is that really what happened? Okay. And then talk for about 15 minutes and then it's heated and then your hands are on her neck. Okay. All right.
Did she ever say at some point, get off of me or anything like that?
At the end.
Saying that, and then the Anadarko conversation are the only two kind of conversations that we really had.
Okay, so he told you he worked for Anadarko, and was that before or after you met him?
This was
in person, I mean.
This was during
our
meeting, yeah, at Chick-fil-A.
At Chick-fil-A.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did he ask you what you did?
Yeah, I did hair.
For supercuts?
No, I'm on Great Clips in Fort Worth.
That's where you're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And were you at Great Clips at that same time you met him?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you believe Amanda? Let me know what you think. I feel like she's genuine. I never gave her interview that much credibility or attention when this case first happened. I thought she was like Trent, just someone coming out of the woodwork. I'm not sure what to think anymore. But what's really interesting about the very last part of this interview, when he asks her if she's still at Supercuts or if she worked at Supercuts when she met Chris Watts, and she says yes. Shanann Watts' friend, Nicole Atkinson, was a manager at Supercuts. And it's rumored that they did know each other. Apparently, Amanda worked for Nicole Atkinson. Did Amanda say anything to Nicole Atkinson about her escapades with Chris? Did she put the connection together? One has to wonder how small this circle really was.
Can I ask you a question? A lot of people think you named Nico after Nikki. So what was that?
Nico was actually named that Shanann liked.
Okay. Shanann thought of that one?
Yeah, I wanted to spell it like N-E-K-O. I thought it was like Nico that way. Mm-hmm. But she said N-I-C-O. And I thought it was like Nico or something.
Okay.
I guess Nico is more of like an Italian name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and like she did leave for, my middle name and my dad and all that. But like Nico is like, that's a name that she always liked. Okay.
So pretty creepy that Nico Lee spells Nicole. Is this just another creepy coincidence in this case? We're going to conclude the video with a couple of more clips where Chris talks about Nicole Kessinger, and I found these interesting.
She accused you of cheating at that point?
Mm-hmm.
So what'd she say?
Like, I knew there was somebody else. I didn't come out to say, that there is somebody else, but she obviously already knew.
And your response to that was what? Did you say, no, there's not? Did you deny it?
I believe I just denied it, but at that point. Because when she would accuse me at the beach, it was a lot of like, there's nobody else, there's nobody else, or like, and when we got back home, she always like said, there's got to be somebody. There's nowhere else. She couldn't really say that I would get anywhere else because I was using those Antarctica gift cards, so it's kind of like, she just made me getting distant, but she knew, and that's mainly the reason why I talked to her, because I knew, like, after that night, it was just like, it felt like, I just felt guilty, more guilty than ever before. She told me to delete everything, and I didn't delete everything, okay. I'm not sure why I didn't delete everything, but probably helped you guys out a little bit. But
she told you to delete everything?
Delete all conversations.
Did she tell you why?
She just said delete it. Which I don't think you can ever delete a text message.
We're pretty good at getting deleted text messages.
Did, when your dad came in, one of the first things you guys talked about, he said, kind of quietly, I cheated on her, I cheated on Shanann or something. Your dad didn't know until that time?
No, when I was in North Carolina on August 6th, when I spent most of the day with my parents and my sister and everybody, I had told them like something like, this, I don't think this is going to work. Like, with what happened with the nuts and everything, and they're not being able to see the kids, they're like, this is the first time they had talked to me. Pretty much.
Oh, because you went 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, because Shanann told me to call him while I was at the beach just to smooth everything out, because she was like, all right, whatever's going on in your head, you need to fix this. But she didn't want the kids to see him. She didn't want to see him. And then, like, when I did see him when I was sick, it was after I went and saw my grandmother. She's in 5 weeks alone. That's the only reason really that was almost even allowed to happen.
There are quite a few people who would tell us, and who do tell us, you need to look into Nikki more, Nikki Kessinger. All the way from the extreme end of things being Nikki's the one who ordered the hit.
She was there, hiding in the basement.
She was there. So the extreme is, she's the one who told Chris to do it. She's the real problem. All the way, that's the extreme side. And then all the way to, well, there were these texts where she was infatuated, she was in love, she was saying how good Chris was in the sack, and maybe we should look at her more. What would you say to those people?
She she had her moments where I had to talk her like off a ledge kind of deal.
What does that mean?
Like, I guess after the fact, there was like videos of her that she was like recording herself because she was like bipolar or something. I never do that. But it's like, and she would get worked up about nothing. She would just like, she came to my house once because I think it was like July 4th. I didn't have to work that day. So I didn't like get up at like, 4 o'clock and go home. Mm-hmm. And Shanann called me like 10 times in a row. And I didn't hear it because I was sleeping. And I was just like, and she was pissed. Shanann was pissed. And like I called her outside, like, where are you at? Like, what? Like, I was like, I didn't have to work today. It's like, you called me at like, 5:30. It's like, my kids want to talk to you at 7:30. I'm like I was sleeping. She's like, she just like, screw you, like, like I don't know where you're at. And I went back inside. So I'm like, I gotta go. And she was just like, okay, are you coming back? I'm like, probably not.
So wait a minute, you kind of lost me there. Were you at Nikki's place
Yeah.
when Shanann called you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you were sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to work that day because I didn't have to that day.
Okay.
The first holiday I ever had off. And, Shanann was pissed and, it kind of pissed Nikki off too that I left. But I think that's when I called Nikki later and she was like, she kind of realized that, she'd always be like, the second, she said second fiddle. She said she would go on like websites and look at like, will a relationship work with somebody? Like, will a mistress work? Will a mistress turn into a relationship?
That's what Nikki was looking at?
Yeah.
She would tell you that, or you
She
heard
told
that?
me that.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that she would go on websites and look at stuff like that. I was like, why do you even look at stuff like that? She's like, I just want to see what other people have experienced.
But like, so that confuses me though, because I thought earlier you were saying she thought you were heading toward a divorce. So why was she looking at herself as a mistress?
This was later on.
Oh.
Like, in August, like the first week of August, when I told her, like, I had that talk with her about separation.
Uh-huh.
That's when, like, she started looking at, like, apartments and stuff. But, like, during our July relationship type thing there.
Oh, I see.
That's when she was looking up, like, it will actually work. Okay. She told her friend Brittany about it, I guess, and Brittany told her not to do it, but she said she already made her decision.
So, are those people absolutely wrong about Nikki? She wasn't asking you to get rid of your family?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. And no part of any of this was because she put it in your head or asked you to, or?
No, she never, this whole relationship contributed to it.
Sure.
But she didn't want me to.
Was it ever like, I wish you didn't have kids, I want to have, kids of my own with you, like?
She never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she said that, at one point she said, I'd like to give you a son.
That 5-second pause was legit the investigators pausing after he said that. This is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Let me know what you guys think.
Did she know that Shanann was pregnant with a boy?
No.
Did she know Shanann was pregnant?
No.
And he answers that so fast. Listen to that again.
Did she know that Shanann was pregnant with a boy?
No.
Did she know Shanann was pregnant?
No.
And why is that? You just didn't tell her?
I didn't tell her. Like, because we had met.
But Shanann put that on Facebook.
That's
how did she not see that?
I don't know. Maybe she didn't. She just was waiting for me to tell her, or she put it out of her head.
So let me know what you think in the comment section below after watching all of this. I know it was a lot to unpack. I want to thank you all for being here. And as always, give that thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.